great men and women of God here assembled. Professor Jegede has given a very comprehensive protocol, and I think to save our time, we can stand on that. That notwithstanding, I recognize the CAPA chairman, who is here being represented by the Primate of Kenya, Ulisa Pete, Archbishop. Welcome to Nigeria. Of course, I have to mention my own primate and his dear wife, the Most Reverend Henry and Mrs. Angela Ndokoba. The able administrator from Ivory Coast. We welcome you. It's a pleasure to see you. And we continue to have a fond memory of our visit to Jebuibo when we came for a funeral. Our dean and members of CAPA, we are happy to see you again. Some of you have retired like I have done. So we belong to the class of retired people. And wherever they are, please greet them for me. Like Wabukala and others. It's a thing of great joy and pleasure for me to be able to reconnect with CAPA through the gracious invitation extended to me by my primate, Church of Nigeria, the Most Reverend Henry Ndokoba. I have fond memories of CAPA, especially our meetings in the beautiful city of Nairobi. You visited us in Nigeria, in Lagos. We enjoyed a wonderful fellowship at Okoh Hotel, Lagos. We must thank the Diocese of Lagos for that wonderful reception. I crave the indulgence of my primate to say welcome to you, African brothers and sisters to Nigeria. Even though we are all blacks, needless to say that each country has its own character traits and peculiarities. Nigeria is not an exception. At this material time in Nigeria, Abuja inclusive, we are going through the affliction of insecurity and insincerity. Money has been elevated to the status of a god. It is particularly pertinent to you as a visitor. The assumption is that you have come with a large sum of dollars. There is a pervasive decline of integrity. Please bear this in mind as you interact with Nigerians. CAPA, an instrument of authentic life for Africa. This theme, in some ways, re-echoes one of the themes already discussed exhaustively by CAPA. And part of that theme is helping Africa to realize its full potential. It was developed by Grace Kaiso. It was deep and received sufficient discussion. Decoding the word authentic takes us back to our past as Africans. It reminds us that decolonization is an ongoing project in every church and every country. How do we achieve authentic Africanness? How do you face the embarrassment of condemning polygamy but accepting the imposition of LGBTQ? Is it not a powerful element of neo-colonialism? I am not asking for polygamy, but just reminding you of the awkwardness of following without questioning. Our peace is often disrupted, instigated from outside in collaboration with locals. Till today, African Christian spirituality is regarded as dubious, while the dry theologies of the West are commendable and prescribed for us. How do you cope with the role of IMF and World Bank vis-a-vis our currency exchange rates? Take a critical look at ECOWAS and the Sahel region, Sudan and the Horn of Africa, with the fledgling rivalry between the West and Russia group. Moreover, there is need to establish a theological commission to proactively think our thought and stop reacting. Because oftentimes, they issue a statement of what they are doing. They have just concluded their General Synod. And our own attitude is to rush to start issuing statements. I think that that is not the right approach. That we are strong enough as a people who are authentic to make our own declarations. Let them be reacting in their own way. That is one good thing which GAFCON has introduced. That whenever we meet as GAFCON, they will begin to respond, which is what we have been doing all along. That time is over. In brief, to achieve an authentic life for Africa, thorough decolonization must be given serious attention. We must be happy to identify ourselves as Africans. We won't die if we are not homosexuals, if we are not lesbians. We won't die. For them to threaten us with food and all this and all that, there is bush everywhere. Plant your corn and eat it. We must promote peace and discourage outside dictations and reliance. That's what Baba Akinola has been saying. Discourage outside dependence. And I'm aware that throughout the time he was CAPA chairman, this was his theme. Our people are not secure. And this leads them to align with foreign powers to help them, and thereby recolonizing them. Think about this. What is happening in Mali and Niger and Burkina Faso? They are not jumping to freedom. They have re-engaged themselves with another master who may turn out to be worse than where they were before. If only ECOWAS did not disappoint. What about food insecurity? A hungry man is a beggar any day. In fact, that's what made Esau to sell himself. In that act, Esau did not just sell a birthright, he sold himself. Economy. Can our economy be set free from the outside powers? When our politicians are very, very committed to anything, so far you give them money? How much influence has our provinces and CAPA as a whole on the policies of our home government? The attitude of the government in Africa looks like you don't have anything to do with this. Stay in your church. They see it as a privilege if they invite you to any discussion about the progress of the country. They just concede that to you a little bit. So under this situation, how can the church influence the government and bring about the authentic African that we are all looking for? In my mind, these are the issues that you have come to discuss. And please give time to it. Give time to it. For us to achieve Africanness, authentic Africanness. Think about these things. And may God give you understanding in all things. In the name of Jesus.